Life throws curveballs when you least expect them, and for my family, it felt like a constant barrage. I was only 6 years old, a time that should be filled with play and laughter, but for me, it was marked by struggle and uncertainty. A devastating flood had just swept through our lives, and then our house was demolished to make way for a bridge widening project. We were left with nothing, thrown into the wilderness of a new province, feeling lost and alone. To make matters worse, my father abandoned us, leaving my mother to fend for herself and her children. It was during this incredibly challenging time that I fell gravely ill. It started with a high fever, a relentless heat that consumed my small body. Then my breathing became a struggle. Every inhale was a battle, a shallow gasp for air that never seemed to fill my lungs. We were penniless, and the local hospital turned us away because we couldn't afford the down payment. It was a moment of pure desperation. But my mother, with a strength I'll never fully comprehend, pleaded with them. Her sincere, heartfelt words, born from a mother's love and fear, must have touched someone's heart because they finally admitted me. I spent 3 long months in that hospital bed, 3 months of confusion and pain. I spent 3 long months in that hospital bed, 3 months of confusion and pain. The doctors were stumped. They ran test after test, but couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. I became a shadow of my former self, withering away until I was just skin and bones. I couldn't eat, surviving only on the dextrose drip that fed nutrients directly into my veins. The daily routine was a nightmare. Every morning, 5 injections, more injections in the afternoon, and again in the evening. Despite all this, I wasn't getting any better. The pain was constant, and my little body was tired of fighting. I was ready to give up. Then came the moment that shattered my mother's world. The head doctor called her in and delivered the most devastating news. "I'm very sorry," he said, his voice void of hope. "We've done everything we can. Take your child home. There's nothing more for us to do but wait for her to pass away." Can you imagine hearing those words about your own child? My mother, ever the fighter, refused to accept this death sentence. She argued, she pleaded, she begged them not to give up on me. In that moment of absolute despair, a glimmer of hope appeared. A stranger, a man who had overheard my mother's desperate pleas, approached her quietly. He had a kind face and a gentle voice. "Don't listen to them," he whispered. "Take your child out of here. Go to the city and find a doctor named Santiago. He's an expert. Just try. Take her to him." That man's words were a lifeline. The very next day, my mother bundled me up, and we prepared for the journey. We boarded a bus for a 100-kilometer trip to the city. I was so weak, just a fragile bundle in my mother's arms. When we arrived, we hailed a tricycle. Miraculously, the driver knew exactly where to find Dr. Santiago's clinic. The clinic was packed. The waiting room was overflowing with people, each with their own story of sickness and hope. We waited 4 hours. It felt like an eternity. But my mother held me close, her presence a constant source of comfort. Finally, late in the afternoon, it was our turn. Dr. Santiago examined me with a gentle, confident touch. He listened to my faint breathing, checked my feverish skin, and asked my mother questions. He was calm, focused, and thorough. After his examination, he looked at my mother and spoke with a certainty that we hadn't heard in months. "Your daughter has a severe case of asthma," he explained, "but that's not all. She also has a parasitic infection similar to malaria." He didn't waste a second. He prepared an injection and administered it right there in his office. And then something incredible happened. Within minutes, I could feel my airways opening up. The tightness in my chest began to loosen. For the first time in months, I took a deep, full breath. It felt like a miracle. Dr. Santiago wrote out a set of prescriptions, an antibiotic medicine for the asthma and another for the parasite. He told my mother to bring me back for a checkup in a week. That doctor wasn't just talented, he was a lifesaver. If it weren't for him, I wouldn't be here today. My life would have ended back in 1985. My mother was overcome with gratitude. She was thankful for the stranger on the bus who pointed us in the right direction. And she was endlessly thankful for Dr. Santiago, the expert who gave me back my life. But most of all, we were thankful to God. It felt like a clear message. It just wasn't my time yet. From that day forward, whenever I felt even a little bit sick, we went straight to Dr. Santiago. That experience changed my family forever. They had almost lost me, and it made them cherish me in a way I'd never known before. I was so loved. They wouldn't let me do any chores, not even washing the dishes or doing laundry. They were so afraid that any exertion might trigger a relapse. I was their precious child, pulled back from the brink. This memory, this unforgettable journey from the edge of death back to life, is etched into my heart. It's a powerful reminder of a mother's unyielding love, the kindness of strangers, and the miracles that can happen when you refuse to give up hope. Thank you for listening to my story.